Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. The sun had barely crept above the horizon when the sound of a private jet's engines pierced the silence at the airstrip. Devon Winters stood near the steps, his expression solemn, brows furrowed in frustration and fear. Behind him, Winters moved with a quiet urgency, cradling a half-packed duffel bag and scanning the area for signs of their pilot. Every second mattered now. Was still gone, had taken him, and every mile she traveled away from them felt like a dagger to his heart. Detective James Burrow, sharp-eyed and calculated, reviewed the latest updates on his phone while Sharon approached with a calm that didn't reflect the chaos she felt inside. Was in crisis, running, hiding, spiraling, and Sharon knew that the moment they caught up to her daughter, the real storm would begin. "We're going to Oklahoma first," Devon announced, breaking the silence as the group boarded the jet. "That's where her last cell ping came from." "Unless she ditched the phone," Burrow added, not to be pessimistic but to prepare them. Still, the FBI's tracking traffic cams, border patrols, and gas stations within a 500-mile radius. If she's trying to get to Mexico, she'll hit a wall sooner or later. Sharon sat stiffly in her seat, watching the clouds through the window as the plane ascended. The tension in her chest was almost unbearable. She couldn't help but recall the last few times she'd seen her daughter had been erratic, panicked beneath a mask of composure. And now she was on the run with a child who wasn't hers. Meanwhile, sped down a dusty, remote highway in a worn-out SUV, curled up in the back seat with a blanket, watched cartoons on a tablet had loaded up before leaving. His innocent laughter sliced through her nerves, a sound both comforting and guilt-inducing. Every time he asked, "Are we there yet? When will we see Mommy and Daddy?" forced a smile and lied again. "Soon, sweetheart, we're just making a detour." But inside, the guilt was beginning to shred her resolve. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Her plan to escape to Mexico with had seemed like salvation. Finally, she could be the mother she'd always dreamed of being. A chance to raise in peace, in love, away from Genoa City's and Devon's icy stare, away from possessiveness. But reality was catching up to her fast. Had already noticed two different cars trailing her that morning. Maybe it was just her paranoia, or maybe it was the FBI closing in. Either way, the SUV she'd taken had to go. It was only a matter of time before her license plate ended up on every bulletin board from Texas to Tijuana. Back on the jet, clutched Devon's hand tighter as Detective Burrow received a call. His eyes sharpened as he listened, and the atmosphere shifted the moment he hung up. "She's been spotted," he announced. "Gas station outside, alone with the boy, paid cash. Car matches the one reported missing 3 days ago in Genoa City." Devon bolted up. "We're close." Sharon's heart sank. She's getting desperate. That means is in even more danger now. "Burrow, we need to move fast. We land, pick up a rental, and track her down before she crosses the border." Miles away, pulled into an abandoned ranch shed and shut off the car. Was asleep, thank God. She sat in silence, shaking, trying to map out her next move. Her hands trembled as she scrolled through grainy border maps on her burner phone. Every route was a risk, every option seemed to shrink. Then suddenly she tossed the phone into the glove box and stared at herself in the mirror. Her hair was matted from days without sleep, her eyes sunken with regret. What had she become? Kidnapping, lying, hiding from people who loved, who had trusted her once. She was breaking down and she knew it. The hallucinations had started again the night before. She thought she saw Ward's face in the shadows, heard his voice telling her this was the only way. But was dead, and if she kept listening to him, might as well be too. A gentle knock on the window startled her. A truck driver, likely passing through, asked if she was okay, forced a smile and, "Just taking a break," she lied again. The man his hat and left, but her sense of safety shattered completely. Back in the air was quietly pleading with Sharon. "When we find her, you have to be the one to talk to her. You're the only one she'll listen to." Sharon looked hesitant. "I'll try, but she's not thinking clearly. I've never seen her like this. It's like she's possessed by grief." "She's going to lose if she doesn't stop," said, her voice breaking, "and she's going to destroy herself too." They landed in Oklahoma within the hour. Burrow had already set up coordination with local authorities. An Amber Alert had been prepped but not yet broadcasted, just in case discretion could still de-escalate the situation. Sharon rode with Burrow while Devon and took another vehicle, splitting up to cover more ground. Had now abandoned the SUV behind a row of barns and was trying to hitch a ride south. She didn't care where it ended, only that she kept moving, but was tired, cranky, and kept asking for his parents. Lies were unraveling as fast as her composure. "I miss Mommy," he whimpered in the truck bed they'd hitched a ride in. "I wanna go home." His heart cracked wide open. She pulled him into her arms and wept quietly into his hair, whispering 1,000 apologies he couldn't understand. Somewhere in her mind, she knew this couldn't go on. The wind whipped across the rural highway as the truck rumbled south, its engine groaning under the weight of distance and silence. Sat stiffly in the passenger seat, curled against her side, the driver had been kind enough not to ask many questions, just a passing stranger offering a lift to a tired woman and child, but every mile they traveled tightened the knot in his chest. Stirred, blinking sleep from his eyes. "Are we close now?" he asked softly. Swallowed, the words caught in her throat. She repeated the same comforting lie so many times that it should have been automatic, but now they tasted bitter, impossible to force out again. "Yes," she whispered anyway, forcing a fragile smile, "we're getting closer." But inside, her resolve was crumbling. The reality she'd tried so hard to deny kept clawing back wasn't hers, not legally, not morally, not in any way except the love she felt, and love she was beginning to understand wasn't enough to justify what she'd done. Hours away, Sharon's car sped across open roads while Detective Burrow monitored updates through his headset. Coordinates shifted on the navigation screen as new information arrived from federal contacts. "They found the SUV," Burrow said, "abandoned. That confirms she switched vehicles." Sharon exhaled shakily. "She's improvising now. That means panic is setting in." "Burrow, we've alerted Highway Patrol. Any reports of hitchhiking or ride requests are being flagged." Behind them, and Devon followed close, tension suffocating the air inside their car, stared out the window, eyes glassy. "She's out there with him," murmured, scared, confused, and he doesn't understand any of this. Devon kept his eyes fixed on the road. "We'll bring him home," he said firmly. "We'll fix this." But his grip tightened on the wheel because deep down he knew this wasn't something easily fixed. Trust had been shattered, bonds strained beyond repair. Back in the trucks, nerves spiked when she saw flashing lights miles ahead. Police cruisers were blocking a checkpoint at an intersection, routine, perhaps, but to her it looked like the end. Her breathing quickened. I think this is where we get off," she told the driver hastily. He shrugged and pulled over, climbed down, clutching his hand as they stepped into the dry grass beside the road. The truck disappeared into the distance, leaving her alone again. Looked up at her, confused. "Why did we stop?" Knelt, brushing hair from his face, her eyes shimmered with tears she couldn't hold back anymore. "Because," she started, voice breaking, "because I think it's time to figure out where we go next." But even as she said it, she knew the truth. There was nowhere left to run. Within an hour, Burrow's phone buzzed. "Possible sighting," he announced. "Woman matching's description seen walking near Route 283 with a child." Sharon's heart leapt and sank at the same time. "That's her." Vehicles converged on the location quickly, tires crunching gravel as they arrived. The setting sun painted long shadows across the empty roadside, and there she was. Stood frozen when she saw them step out of their cars. Devon, Sharon, police units behind them. There was nowhere to hide. Perked up instantly. "Mommy, Daddy," he shouted, breaking free from his hand and running toward Devon. Collapsed to her knees as she caught him in her arms, tears streaming freely. Devon wrapped them both in a fierce embrace, relief washing over him like a tidal wave. Watched, hollow and trembling. Sharon approached her slowly, gently. "Sweetheart." His lip quivered. "I just wanted to keep him safe. I thought I could give him everything." Sharon reached for her hands. "You don't have to carry this alone," but running wasn't the answer. Detective Burrow stepped forward, calm but firm. "We're going to take you in. You'll be treated respectfully. Let's do this peacefully." Weakly, there was no fight left in her, no energy to resist. As the handcuffs clicked softly around her wrists, she glanced one last time at Laughing's arms, safe, loved, home again. And strangely, despite the ache ripping through her chest, she felt a sliver of relief. The chase was over. The lies were finished. Reality had caught up at last. As the cars pulled away into the fading light, Sharon followed close behind, whispering a quiet promise that she wouldn't abandon her daughter now, not when she needed her most. And somewhere in the silence of that long road, the storm surrounding, and Devon settled into its next chapter, one filled with consequences, healing, and the fragile hope that even broken bonds could mend.